Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I'm Sam, and we're besties that love to game.
Yeah, and get in the frickin' car, loser, and tell me about your life.
Good intro there. No,
Thanks.
my car, the minivan, full of junk and toys and treats from the kids, snacks everywhere, is full of kid stuff. So,
Love kid stuff. Love that for you.
speaking of though, yeah, driving around, I just added this extra little story because it was too funny. So Jay is driving with me in the back, and he's sitting in the back, and I'm driving him. And all of a sudden, Jay just yells out, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong? What's going on?" And he's like, "No, hay!" And there's just a bale of hay sitting out in the field. And so Jay's new thing is whenever he sees hay, he just goes, "Hey!" But he's just exclaiming that there happens to be hay.
He's exclaiming hey without actually saying, like, hello.
Yeah, so that's what Jay does. So yeah, so that was funny. And even I tried to spit it back on Jay, and I was like, "Oh, look, hey." And he just goes, What do you mean?" And I was like, "Oh, there's a bale of hay." And then he just goes, 2 seconds later, he goes like, "Hey." And then he did the same thing. But anyway, so yeah. So that's what Jay was saying. It's pretty funny. It cracks me up every time. And then let's see. Okay, the
K,
littlest,
the
the
baby
the
K.
or they call her KK actually at daycare.
Oh, cute.
I know it's cute, but anyway, Kay is the 1 year old. She loves dogs, right? And she used to make the dog sound was woo 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 woo, and
Yeah.
that's what she made. Well, the dogs came over to our house over the weekend. They were really hot because it's like 90 plus degrees and whatever. So they came inside the house for a little bit. We put the cats away, and they were panting. So they were going. So now every time she sees a dog, she just goes
Yeah.
yeah and pants a lot. It's pretty funny.
Because she's being a
And
hot dog.
because she's being a hot dog, good one, love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
And then in to not be left out here, I don't know how it actually came up in conversation. I don't remember the whole combo, but something about how and you still need your mommy and your daddy, even though you're a big 6 year old now, you know. And so I mentioned, yeah, you kind of need us to make you food and those kind of things. It was one of in a list of many things that we provide as the parents. I mentioned food, and N's retort was, "Well, I can make a few things as
Oh,
far as food."
yeah, like what?
She
Cereal?
she goes, "I can make grapes," and and the second one was and chips. And I said, "Okay, well, so I have to open the bag of chips for you." And she's like, "Well, yeah, I can make chips once you've opened the bag for me."
That is some Taylor logic right there, if I've
Anyway, so
ever
that
heard
was
it.
so that was pretty good. So that's my life, and yeah, we are very far away from the kids being self-sufficient, as you can tell. But
I
what have you
can.
been up to?
Well, in my car, loser, I I drove to Bend, Oregon about 2.5 weeks ago because I had a gig down there with Opera Bend, a barber of Seville. I was singing some Basilio. That's a character's name down there, one of the principal characters.
Love it.
Made some new friends, sang some good opera. It was great. Bend is you. We've vacationed in Bend before,
We have. I love Bend.
so Bend is really cool. It's still just as nifty as it was when we went there a couple years ago. Yeah, it's great. It's good. Got a good review out of it. It's fun.
Fantastic. Well, good. And made some new friends who
Ma-
hopefully are listening to the pod. Hey, new friends.
Hey, new friends. I think some of them said they're going to.
Oh,
So,
great. Well,
you know,
hopefully,
shout out to
yeah.
new friends.
Whichever new friends like RPG video games and want to hear us ramble about them,
I
please,
know.
please listen.
So I feel
But
like I've been gone forever. So it's nice to.
mhm.
I still have a few. I have two more trips this summer, but it's before we take our big one in the fall together. But you know, they're. It's good. It's good. I'm back home now. Which I feel like I'm more stable with my life.
you're a traveler. You're a traveling fiend. It's part of
I
your life.
I am a traveler. I
A
am.
hobo.
I'm just hoboing it up. But yeah, that's basically been my life. Has just been being a singer on the go. I do want to say we recorded our Convince episode, last episode on Final Fantasy VIII, and we got some feedback from it. And I just want to say, honestly, I love that someone was so. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that I messed up information. Like, I think we've said that in some earlier episodes. Sometimes we're going to mess things up. Yeah,
And we want to be honest about that and correct it. Absolutely.
and correct it. So I messed up some Guardian Forces, Guardian Forces, the GFs, if you will. I messed up some of the explanation of the magic. I don't have an excuse. I just messed it up. I'm human. I hope we, and by we I mean me, can do better on the review episode when we ultimately review Final Fantasy VIII. And if you're gonna leave a comment, like, feel free to leave a comment. Like,
Yeah,
totally
feel
fine.
free. It was a
I'm not gonna.
very we live in the internet world. We know how comments can be, and it was peak internet comment.
It
That's
totally
all.
was. It was. And, I'm not gonna dirty delete it because it wasn't profane or anything like
No,
that.
no, no, no,
No.
no.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
thought
But
they were. It was thoughtful. They loved the game.
they
It
love the
was.
game. I love that they love the game. And, we had a listener. We may not have a listener anymore after that. After I screwed up the info. But you know what? It's part of the process. So, sorry. And hopefully we can do better in the future.
Well, I like that. That's what we'll stick to. And I keep your head up, DJ. We're good.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun on that episode, and I think a lot of people like to listen to it. So
I had fun too.
anyway, well, what are we having fun with today, DJ? What game are we talking about here at the end of Pride?
Well, we are going to celebrate another Pride Month with a queer ass game called Get in the Car, Loser.
Get in the car,
I
loser.
waited until you took a drink to say that too,
Yeah, you
so.
did. That's okay. That's okay. Yes, get in the car, loser. So let's talk about this game.
Yeah.
This game is a beautiful little pixel art turn-based RPG. Was released initially to Windows, Steam in 2021, September 21st, 2021,
Yep.
and then didn't come to Switch though until September 16th of 2024. So that's why we missed it. At first I was like, how did we not see this game? Turn-based RPG, very for how did we not see it last year when we did our
Right.
our, our queer RPGs episode? And that's the reason because we don't play as many games on Windows and Steam and stuff, and so that's the only other system it was out on until it was released on Switch last September, so after Pride Month.
Yeah.
Systems that it's out on, as we mentioned, Windows, Steam, Switch. Developer and publisher was Love Conquers All Games. Love that name.
Oh, I love that
And
name.
then the designer, programmer, writer, all in one is one Christine Love. So she's only 35. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wrote and created visual novel games prior to this, but this is her first RPG, I believe, which is
I think you're right.
is
Yeah.
I was very impressed for this being her first RPG. It does actually have a lot of visual novel elements and feels very visual
Mhm.
novelly in a lot of ways, but a lot of good ways, I would say.
I mean,
So
these
yeah,
people who are like their own like one person teams making these games, it's wild and so
they're
impressive.
so talented. I know.
Yeah.
And just like I mentioned, it has some kind of visual novel aspects and
Yeah.
story. I would say the emphasis on the story. Tell us a little bit about that, DJ. What is the story all about?
It's what back in Bend, I would tell my castmates, I gotta go home tonight. I gotta play my lesbian road trip adventure game.
That's what it is.
And like that kind of became the running joke. It was like that's what I'm gonna go
But
do. But
that's a good.
that's
But that maybe made them interested. Maybe did.
I mean that's also why I was saying it to try to make people interested so more
Hmm.
people will play this game. Yeah, so
Yes, good.
ultimately you lead the party of three lesbian adventurers and an angel in a high stakes cross country road trip. The trip literally begins with the main protagonist being hailed to join the party with the namesake phrase, "Get in the car, loser."
Get in the car, loser.
And I love every time that you load up the game, a different person says, "Get in the car,
I know
loser."
it's so great.
It's so cute. The squad, wielding the titular sword of fate, yes, sword of fate, sword of fate, they aim to stop the resurrected evil, Machine Devil, while also avoiding capture by the troublesome Divine Order. You battle as many machine devil demons as inner demons during this cute, snappy adventure.
Oh yeah. Good
Yeah,
synopsis. Yes.
thank you.
I mean I agree. There's a lot going on there and there's a lot in the story, but also the inner story. What's going on inside?
Oh, Act Three, man.
Oh
Oh,
man, Act 3 is all the feels. Um, but how does it look? Visually, I thought it was just an absolute treat.
yeah.
And again, first RPG, great. I do want to look back and see what the visual novels look like. I wonder what the aesthetic is, if it's similar or
Oh,
not.
I bet it's. I mean, I bet it's similar. It's a cool look. I don't know why they would, not ride with that for a while.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, we got kind of a bright pixel art game, mostly side view with a little bit of depth. Sometimes you get kind of a top-down perspective at the rest stops.
Hmm, hmm.
I'd say it feels a lot like in the visual department, a side scroller beat 'em up, like or a Street Fighter type game, and like I'd maybe more side scroller beat 'em up, a la the Ninja Turtles like side scroller beat 'em
Or
ups,
like the X
or
Men.
Streets of Rage or X-Men. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of the side depth that it is, but also similar to the art style in a way.
yeah,
It feels like that. However, it's not. It's a turn-based RPG. Let's make sure that's clear again.
yeah.
And then it's a lot of bright kind of neon and maybe some pastel colors. I'd give it almost a 90s California vibe. Does
The,
that feel right?
it does. The actual logo art looks like it's Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess I should know what time frame it's shooting for, but that feels right, especially because they have like the Polaroid pictures that
Yeah.
pop up, like the instant develop. That kind of feels 90s.
Are we
Let's
ever
see.
told when the time period is? I don't think so. Are
If we
we?
are, I missed it.
Shoot. Yeah. If
Um,
we did, I missed it too. Sorry.
Please let us know if you know the time period. Somebody does. And then yeah, battles very similar, kind of side view. There's a little bit of depth for having rows of enemies there. I thought it was cool too. Like a lot of the battles are on the side of the street, maybe on like a scenic view overhang. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's a cool little touch. So you don't just go to a random void area to fight. You're like on the side of the road because you're
Yeah.
on a road trip.
Because you're on a road trip.
Yeah, and then also to kind of just like I'd say cherry on top of the visuals is that post battle kind of clip. So kind of the scene at the end of a battle when you might see what gear did you get, what XP, whatever else. They have a fun little like Polaroid that's going to be a snapshot of something fun that happened on the road trip, which I thought was a really fun touch. And all of
Neat.
these visuals have a wonderful backdrop of sound in the audio department. So DJ, tell us a little bit about the tunes and the sounds.
Some of the sweet tunes. Yeah. So the composer is Krista Lee, and Krista Lee is actually a Seattle, Washington composer, or at
Oh,
least
fantastic! Oh, I didn't know that part.
yeah, or at least at one point, Krista lived in Seattle. I don't know if they still do, but yeah, they're a musical composer. They at least at one point were based in Seattle, Washington, which is where I live. The music is jazzy, driving beats, smooth, groovy driving songs. I loved both the generic battle songs and then the boss songs as well.
I thought the generic one was amazing and slapped. I thought the boss songs were not as memorable, pretty good, but the generic one was awesome. I mean, you hear it so many times, and
It's
I don't think
true.
I don't think I got tired of it.
I liked them both. I thought the voicing. I also thought like the voices were really like lovely voices to
Agreed.
listen to. Um, yeah, yeah. To me and I may say this again. A lot of the music reminded me a little bit of the Persona games. I think maybe more Persona 5 than the other
I would totally agree
ones,
with that.
but super cool. I'm after the episode, I'm gonna see if I have any mutuals with Crystal Lee. That'd be someone cool to also have on the pod.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Yeah, let's
it
talk to some more composers
for
because
real.
I feel like um, they're underappreciated, right? You hear these OSTs that just
Freaking
change your life, and
slap.
I don't play, I don't replay games, but
Oh
I
sure.
sure as heck replay, OSTs, soundtracks all the time.
Yeah, they're great to
So
study to or just to drive to.
they're great to
Study? I
study
mean,
to. They're
neither of
great to
us are in
drive
school anymore to
to.
study, but still,
Any basically every time I do a game master, a D&D game or something like that,
yeah.
all of the battle themes are from RPGs every time. So definitely things I
As well,
listen to
they
a lot.
should be. As well
They
they
should
should
be.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So tell us a little bit about the gameplay, Samuel.
So gameplay, we've kind of hinted at a few of these things. So you've got that side view and you're on a road trip, so you're in a car. And how it I thought this was kind of a cool mechanic. There's three different lanes. And it will tell you with kind of a street sign in each lane what's coming up if you stay in that lane.
Hmm.
It'll tell you how many miles away or kilometers, I guess, you are away from the next challenge, whether that be a battle, and it'll give you the number of enemies, the level of the enemies, whether it be a rest stop where you can fuel up, you can get more gear, you can do whatever happens next, or is it a boss or something like that. So you know what's coming up and you can pick which lane you want to go in. And then as you go, as you travel, the story unfolds. So each kilometer, you're kind of clicking through. That's when you're getting the dialogue between the party members who are all in the car. And I thought that was beautifully done.
Yeah.
So and how they pace that with the dialogue. There's always something interesting they're talking about, and it builds as the story goes, and you kind of know how far you're going, so that kind of builds suspense. So that's kind of fun.
Hmm.
But yeah, so then that's kind of the mechanic of time and also how the story is told. Getting into some of more of the elements of the gameplay. There is some gear. I'd say it's a lot lighter on gear than most RPGs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so each gear is primarily just kind of the items that each person equips, and
The
each
trinkets.
item, the trinkets, and each item will then give them an ability or a skill for each character. Each one of those items can be upgraded once to the next level up, and then you also have the Sword of Fate. You can't upgrade that, you can't really change it. It's always the Sword of Fate. It's very powerful. And then once you get into a battle, once you choose to stay in a lane and drive all the way to the end when you're ready to fight that whatever comes at the end of that road.
Hmm.
Um, it's a pretty cool battle system that I don't know. It's different, which I like. I like when somebody tries something different. So I'd call them. It is turn based, but it's kind of fluid. So your whole team is attacking kind of fluidly based on the cooldowns for each attack.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. This is similar, not completely the same, but similar to the Valkyrie profile battle system,
Okay. Okay.
where everyone has a button assigned to them, and that's
Yes.
the move that they use. So yeah, that's the game that it kind of reminded me of a little bit.
Okay, very good. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you kind of have you eventually have four characters. I think you start out with the three, but so each one of them will be assigned to a different one of the buttons in the triangle there, the A, B, X, and Y on the Switch controller. And then when you select them, when their cooldown is done, they'll perform their attack. And then there's a certain amount of time for their next cooldown. Their attacks might be elemental attacks or just physical attacks. They might attack one enemy, they might attack multiple enemies. They can also apply different statuses such as slow, taunt, bleed. All those kind of things
Rust.
can happen.
Rust was one
Rust. Oh
too.
yeah, Rust is a cool one. Um, and then you're also toggling is the word I'll use between three different setups. So they
Yeah.
each have their own abilities and attacks for, that you're hitting the buttons for. There's the cooldowns. But there'll be one setup where they're all kind of linked together. Like all four of them have their attacks in that one setup. And then you have a second setup and you have a third setup. And so you're toggling between those. And you can just switch between one setup and the next, and sometimes that resets the cooldowns, and then you can use the next attacks again, and then you toggle again and go to the next one. So why would you want to do that? Why would you want to switch between the different setups? Well, the way I did it at least, and I think the way other people might do it is maybe you have one setup that's more for fire-based attacks. So if you're attacking something that's weak to fire, you might stay there longer.
Hmm.
You could have another one that's got a different element to make sure that you don't because if you attack somebody with an element that they absorb, then they'll heal, and
Yep.
that is a problem.
That's a
Do
no-go.
not kill the enemy if you keep healing them. And then I had one of mine set to kind of heal on that turn, so it was set up to be more defensive. And then a few times I had to kind of switch it up, but it's kind of cool. You can toggle between three different kind of
Yeah.
loadouts, and once you toggle through it a few times, that will activate the Sword of Fate, and then the Sword of Fate will hit, and then the whole system will flow again and start over, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
It's
can
great.
also include there's one other thing that happens is this stagger. So the Sword of Fate will add to the stagger. Some of the other attacks add to stagger, and then once the enemy is fully staggered, once that meter is kind of built up, then they are
Oh.
stunned. they don't attack for a minute, and they take more damage. So you kind
Yeah.
of all wail on them. Yeah. So and then you have items. The item system is not super in depth, but that's fine. You can get healing items, you can get auto stagger items, you can get items that buff your teammates. So some cool little things there. But again, I liked it in the sense that it was different. I thought that it was snappy. I thought that it was fluid. I thought that it worked.
Hmm.
It took me a few battles to kind of get used to it because it is different, but
Same.
not that long.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I'm playing Xenoblade and I'm like 35 hours. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, shout out. I'm 35 hours into that one and I don't know if I understand you know, 70% of the battle mechanics. But
Amazing. Not the game for me.
anyway, yeah, I know. That'll be a hard convince you to play, won't it? Um,
Hmm? Hmm? Hmm?
but back to this beautiful game. What are the most beautiful aspects in your view, DJ?
I already said the music, like the music is so much fun. Part of the reason why I would just come home from rehearsal to like kind of mindlessly play through a little bit of it, one
Hmm.
to look at the pretty bright colors,
It's pretty.
and also then just to hear the battle music.
It's
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 really
so
fun.
good.
It's really quite great. I'll probably end up buying the soundtrack at some point.
You should.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
totally
yeah.
should.
I just like It Can Fell, a game that we talked about. We didn't review, but it came up in our Pride episode last year. All the characters in this are queer, but it
Hmm.
never feels forced. The characters feel mostly real. They
Hmm.
have real conversations. I think to someone who is maybe not on the same side of the fence that you and I are, some of the conversations might seem a little like, oh, I can't believe they're talking about that. Maybe not. But I never felt like I was being beaten over the head
Yeah.
with the queerness. Not that I would mind because I'm queer, but yeah, the characters felt real. Chapter 3 in particular, I will not go into it, but that was quite an emotional journey in chapter 3.
Absolutely.
I love a good pixel art, and this is incredibly gorgeous. I liked the simplicity of the battle system. I think you and I were both like, wait a second, how does this function for like the first 10 minutes? And then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's how it functions. Great. So after that, I thought it didn't take itself too seriously. It was pretty easy to understand. I could kind of mindlessly play it sometimes, which
Hmm.
doesn't mean I wasn't interested in the dialogue or the story. I was, but it was also kind of nice just to know, okay, I'm going to come home and get in my bed and I'm going to play 30 minutes of Get in the Car Loser.
There's a lot of coziness to it. Not
Cozy. That's a
all
great word.
cozy. Not all cozy, but definitely some coziness to it.
It's a little crunchy, but also a little cozy. Shout out to our friends at Crunchy Cozy
There
Games.
you go. Yeah, I like that shout out.
Yeah.
Well, good. I agree. I liked a lot about it too. A lot about it. The new different battle system, like I said, it's refreshing
Yeah.
to not just feel like, oh, I'm playing something that's old hat, and there's not a twist on something. But I thought that this was rather different from
Hmm.
most turn-based RPGs. Let's see. And I'm still impressed that like this was their first RPG that they made. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Battle theme, as far as the music goes, primarily, amazing.
Duh.
Characters, like you said, I really enjoy, and I think this is probably because she's written a lot of visual novels. Like the story arcs for each character, the writing, the wit, the humor, the conversations, and I don't, story is not the main thing. Story is not a top three things generally that I'm looking for in a game.
Hmm.
But this was refreshingly fun to, not always fun, but fun to hear what's happening with them. And I was excited to figure out what was going on next in the story. And that was good. Like I wasn't just clicking through. I was reading through it, which was great. Like you mentioned, it's really nice to have, coming from a non-queer person, found it refreshing to have all the characters be queer for the most, pretty much everyone. Is the angel, is Angelica or whatever their name is? Are they not
Angela.
Angela? Sorry.
I don't.
I don't
I
know if
think
they identify as that.
I don't know if necessarily, but I think I feel comfortable saying lumping her in with a queer
Yeah.
character. Yeah.
Anyway, but that was refreshing because I feel like most of the time, especially when we went through our episode before, y- you know, I'd say we had a hard time finding a game like this. We could very well find games that had queer characters and were accepting, and maybe you could romance a character of the same gender or whatever else. But this is like everybody, and that's totally different level. But it's also very refreshing, and it's fun to experience that because games are you're living in RPG, you're living the experience of somebody else in a way, right? And so most of the time, if you're just living a cis straight life over and over again in these games, you're not really experiencing humanity through games fully, right? So I
Yeah,
thought that this
yep.
was great. Um, and like you said, Act Three, that one hit hard in all the feels, and you really felt for Sam in that act, and it was emotional roller coaster. Loved it.
Oh,
Artwork really fun, inviting, kind of that nostalgic retro '90s feel, and I kind of felt like I could have just been standing up in an arcade.
yeah.
Hitting all these, it actually would kind of lend itself well to four different buttons for your attacks, and
Oh, it
like
totally would.
and maybe just the joystick to go between. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. Let's see here. I liked a lot of the breaking of the fourth wall and kind of tongue in cheek
Yeah.
humor. Again, just kind of lent to the enjoyment. Yeah. So lots that I liked.
Lots that we liked. Any that you didn't super like?
Yeah. So I always will go over this
Yeah.
as we posted recently. The old man yells at cloud is old gamer yells at all RPG, and that's me. But the things I didn't always jive with maybe were that uh, maybe it's just me. While the battle system was relatively simple to get used to, maybe it's just hard to master. I don't know if I knew the highest level of play or kind of how all the things synergized as well, all the abilities. I didn't quite see that. How do they all synergize to kind of min-max it the most? And that's one thing I like to do with the battle system normally. And similarly, maybe the battles could have asked for a different strategy. Once I had my strategy, it seemed to work on almost all of them, except for maybe one of the bosses that we chatted about that we had to switch things up for,
We sure
which I
did.
appreciate that. I like that, but there was one that threw a wrench in my system, which I had to then change.
Freaking same.
Um, and maybe some more playable characters, because then that would add depth to they would have different abilities, and then how does
Yeah.
that fit with everybody else's? So those would be my only kind of gripes. How about you, DJ?
Yeah, I'm not the first to gravitate toward a visual novel. Those are not. It's the reason why I have not truly started 13 Sentinels is because
Good point.
get in the car loser. It's half visual novel. I don't think either game would market themselves as visual novel, but the traits are certainly there.
Yeah,
But and this one just had a lot of dialogue, so I would have loved voice acting, but I know that
huh,
costs a lot of money
good
to
point.
produce. So that's not a don't play this game if you want a game with voice acting. That's just like, oh, that would have been nice to have had some more voice acting, but that's just a small stupid gripe I have.
No,
And
I agree with that.
the limited items in battle, I think you could have 5 items, maybe 6.
Yeah,
I that just seemed it's just a design choice, that's fine, but I just wish I could have had not unlimited items, but I wish I could use any items in battle and not have to equip 5 and then say those are my 5 until I decide to equip other ones.
good point. Yeah, yeah. Inventory maybe could have been a little bit better, but yeah, but there's not a whole lot of inventory to deal with, and
Yeah.
as far as games go, there's not a whole lot of inventory management.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's say you're playing through it again.
Yeah.
What do you do on New Game Plus or second playthrough, DJ? How do you play it differently?
I've not played the DLCs, so I would play the DLCs. One is a beach adventure, and then the other one gives you two, I think at least one, if not two different characters.
That's what I read. Yeah.
So I'd play that for that, for the characters and for the beach adventure.
I agree. That could be fun. Kind of
Yeah.
switch it up. And then so yeah, I would play the DLCs and then I would just totally switch it up with my strategy. So I had my strategy. I kind of got stuck in a rut because it was working.
Yeah.
And I would just try any of the abilities I hadn't tried. I would put them all together and just be like, what happens? Right. So that would be my main thing that I would do on a second playthrough.
Woo.
Um, yeah, yeah. So good. Yeah. Really beautiful little, as I said, snappy game because it's really not. The length is it's not the
10,
longest. Yeah,
10 or
10-ish
12 hours,
hours.
I think.
Yeah.
Basically, if you don't want to play this game, you're homophobic and get out of here because it's Pride Month.
You tell
So,
them. Happy
yeah.
Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride. Go play Get in
Play
the
the
Car,
game,
loser.
loser.
Yeah, cheese and sauce. What else? What else are you playing right now, man?
Oh my gosh. So many things. Doing this pod has I used to only be I play one game until I'm done with it
Hmm.
completely.
Yeah.
And I could not fragment my gaming time. So that has had to change some. But so I'm decently far into Xenoblade X Definitive Edition,
Oh, fun.
liking that a lot. Very complex though. And then I bought finally I bought both Bravely Default Flying Fairy as well as Lunar. I got the Lunar remaster finally. I'm sorry, but they're both downloaded, and I'm going to jump into. I think I'm gonna jump into Lunar and knock that out first because that one I know I'm playing this year. We've already agreed. I That's how kind I'm being because I really want to jump into Bravely Default Flying Fairy. I'm so
Fair.
excited. Bravely Default 2 is one of my favorite RPGs, but
Okay. Okay.
Lunar is one of your favorites. I've promised you. I trust you, and so anyway, I will be playing that very, very, very soon.
Yay! 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 How fun! I'm excited to hear your experience with it.
Yeah, how about you? What you playing?
I just I've been playing Get in the Car Loser this week. I am going to start Claire Obscure.
Do it.
Chiaroscuro. I'm gonna start Claire
That's how
Obscure.
they say it.
I think so, right? Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So I'm gonna start that. I think because I say summer tradition. It's not like I play it every summer, but like every like 4 or 5 summers, I'll play Lunar 2. So I think I'm gonna play Lunar 2 because I won't feel right if I play it in a season that's not summer.
It just won't be right.
It just won't be right. So it's playing something very old and something very new.
That is fine as long as you dedicate enough time to clear obscure.
Claire Obscure. Well, you and I also have to dedicate some time to our summer project that we're doing. That'll go through at least August. Is Baldur's Gate 3?
I am super excited for that, but also very nervous about how we make that work. But it'll be fine. We'll just have Max uh, um, completely carry us through that game.
I think it'll
How
be
many
fine.
times? How many times has Max played it?
I know he started the beta like at least 75 times. So I
Shout out Max.
shout out to my husband. Woot. We should get Taylor to play it too, so all four of us can be our own little D&D party.
Well, okay. Can we have her play a character that like just shows up once every 6 times?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know how this
Okay,
goes.
because that's I feel like all she's gonna be good for is like once every 6 times.
That seems fair.
And then,
Well,
but she wants to. Here's what we do: we just play it where I'm not on headphones. Everybody can chat and you can hear her, and she'll read her book and she'll chime in every time that like our character is doing something dubious.
I think that
And
works.
yeah, then we'll like that. That'll be good.
All right,
She'll
like
be
and
an honorary
subscribe
member.
for Taylor to read a book online for us. Like and subscribe for
Hey,
that.
hey, maybe that has to be the After Dark. Taylor's into some of those
Some smutty
books.
stuff. Yeah,
Bloody
smutty
stuff.
Baldur's Gate 3. Honestly I hear that tracks with how that game
I
can
was gonna
be.
say I'm not throwing shade there. It's like, come on, what's in Baldur's Gate 3? I'm not trying to act like we're being any different here.
It's very smut. What a lovely tangent at the end. So
Well, where can they find this high brow content that we're providing, DJ?
super highbrow. You can find us at Turn Based Besties on Instagram. You can listen to us over on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can go to our socials and let us know your thoughts on Get in the Car Loser or
Get
your
in the
favorite.
car, loser.
Right, Get in the Car Loser, or let us know about your favorite Pride related game. You can email us comments and questions at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. Alert, alert, alert. We
Alert.
have a new episode release schedule. Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific time or 10 a.m. Central time. Now, this is not every Friday morning, but when we release main episodes from here on out, they will be on Friday morning. So when you're driving to work, get some turn-based besties in your life.
That's right.
And while
Or
you're
just
doing it,
make it a weekend ritual.
weekend ritual, listen to some TBB, follow us on social media, give us some likey poos. I want to get to 500 this year. 500.
Let's
Six
do
seasons
it.
and a movie. Let's do
There you go.
it.
Do it.
Yeah, I love doing that. We're gonna get I don't
Are you
know.
okay, DJ?
I
DJ.
I think I just stroked out, but that's fine. Anyway, thanks for saving me. Thanks for reviving me, Healer, on this awesome adventure that we get to go on together here at Turn-Based Besties.
I love that too. And as we say, always, you and I, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn-Based Besties. Bye!
Bye!